All right, here it is, January 1, 2012. Well, I'm in the shop today. I've always, in my history has been over the many, many years I've been doing live steam. I always enjoy the holidays for one perfect reason. Nobody bothers me. I come to the shop, I work all day, I have a nice time, I listen to Christmas music or whatever. And that's one of the most enjoyable times for me when it comes to live steam working in the shop. Anyway, I'm just about wrapping up, thank God. I'm wrapping up the spring saga. The eye's done. It's over here, all completed. I'll get a picture of that for you in a little bit. And the punching for the slots is completed. All the models have been made for the spring hangers and the seats and all of that. I've made the punch now. The other day I made this for the, I'm going to show you that in a minute, it's for making the shackles, little shackles. And pretty much ready to start marketing and selling the springs. I've got a few orders, tentative orders. I'm going to send out some emails to those guys and see if we can get the orders in. They're working out pretty good. I got it just mounted in the, come up a little closer so you can see it. Okay, now here, this spring hanger, this different end here, is for the cross equalizer that goes across. On the Mikado, there was one in the front that equalized down to the lead truck, and you could actually use it. Some four-wheel lead trucks did have a front equalizer. The K4 originally, the Penske K4 originally had that, and they took it out for some reason. I guess didn't work out. But most Mikados, or any two-wheel lead truck, generally is equalized into the very front spring. Otherwise, this would terminate onto the frame. And this end is the standard. This goes down to the equalizer bar that comes across here. That goes down between, which I'm going to be making up some of that stuff. But in any event, what this is I'll put it back here. Oh, yeah, by the way, this piece here is just made yesterday. This is a piece of cold roll that I split down the center, machined half of it away, left two little ears on each end, and that's your spring pivot. And this will go on top of the saddle, which is going to be a casting that I'm also going to offer. So the way it's going to come out is it's going to have this complete system, and then the saddles, which would be pretty much a standard you can use on any locomotive. And I do have journal boxes, so I have that. And then I might offer the axle, because I got the journal boxes, which is set up for a certain bearing. I might offer the axle drawing to go with it, so you understand how that's just going to be cold rolled steel, 1.5 inch diameter at the biggest. And the bearings I use, they're about $10 a piece. Nice sealed ball bearings, and it's the only place I use ball bearings anywhere. But I may be changing that, by the way, but we'll talk about that another time. But in any event, this is a 3/4 spring. This is a 6 inch between centers. From here to here, 6 inches. I'm also going to have a 5.5 inch between centers, a 5 inch between centers. I can make a 4.5 between centers, but on this small spring, it may be a little light. Maybe for an 060, I got to look some drawings. But generally speaking, other than the K4 for some reason, the center to centers on most of the locomotives was 40 inches, which comes out to, in 1.5 inch scales, 5 inches. In 1.6 is 5 and 333, which is close to 3/8, say, or halfway between 3/8 and 5/16. But let's bump it up one more notch to 5.5. So you're talking about 1/4 inch, which is not much of a distance. Not even, yeah, 1/4 inch, which is not that much of a distance. Not even that. Let me say, wait a minute. 3/8 and 1/8 would be 1/2 inch. Yeah, it's only 1/8 of an inch. So a 16 on either side, you could use it with the railroad supply, railroad warehouse locomotive. These are basically the models. Now they look a little bit large, but excuse me, that's because you know, there's shrinkage involved in the casting, so they're going to shrink down a little bit, and about 20%. So this one's a little bit stiff in the slots, but it will work. They're all going to shrink equally. Now, we'll talk about this in a minute. They slide out. Here's the. Now this piece right here, this width, is designed for a 3/4 inch wide frame, and for a 5/8 wide, if you have that frame, you can just narrow this down. For a 1/2 inch wide frame, you can narrow it down. I don't think that you're going to use this size, a 1/2 inch spring with this hanger. I'm going to probably make new hangers because the hole, the slot in the spring is 257. So let's say 250, 1/4 inch. If you take a 1/2 inch spring, that only leaves you 1/8 of an inch on either side. So I also have, because I use the diacro punch, which is interchangeable, I can change it to a punch, square, this or that. I can put whatever I want in there, and that was the objective there. So I didn't have to make one die set. I could just change the punches. That I do have a 3/16 by 5/8, and I'll probably specify that on the 1/2 inch spring, and then make very similar hangers for the 1/2 inch width springs. The 5/8 and the 3/4 could utilize this stuff. Now this is the hanger. Away it'll come as a Vespa casting, and then of course the key, the little key here. Now extra deep notch on that. That looks kind of deep, but the objective is so when you put this in, it's going to stay in there, and then the weight's going to hold it. Now, believe it or not, I might consider using some thread locker on that. After I get everything all set up, put some Loctite thread lock on that, so that it just keeps it in there, just in case something happens and it decides to drop out. It's going to stay there. I'm a little skeptical on that. And then we have the little end piece right here. Come up closer so you can see it as close as I can. Back up a little bit in the light. And then it has a little bit of a lip to it here. That hooks over the end of the spring. Comes up through the slots in the spring, and then there's enough gap that you drop it down, and then you slide the pin in, and then when it comes back up, it locks in. And it's not going to go anywhere. Because other springs that I've viewed, I've noticed, for some reason, whoever made them decided to make the end slot a slot all the way out the end. And to me, that doesn't make sense because it could drop off the end. And I've heard that case happening where the hanger just slipped off the end like that. So that's not going to happen here because it's captivated like the prototype. So that's the spring. And this is the little punching little die. I use, this is 1/32 by 3/4 brass. And believe it or not, it worked out that I used the punch that I make for the springs. This is 3 inches around here, 3 complete, you know, the circumference or the distance around here is 3 inches. So I used the 3-inch setting for the 3-inch spring and just punched these out of a long strip that I get from Special Shapes. And it punches the hole in the middle, same way. So when I'm all set up, punching the 3/4 inch springs, I'll punch a bunch of these brass pieces. And then I stick them in this thing, and of course this is already bent, but it, you know, it lays in here. It's got a little nesting slot, and then you just, boop, that's it. Pick it up, put another one on there. Now I have, this is one I have for 3/4, and somewhere, yeah, this is a 1/2 inch wide for the 1/2 inch wide spring, same hole, and then this is 5/8 wide one with the same hole. So I've got all three. I made all the punches and or the forming punch, and just very simple. Just a little arbor press that's come down. It's set up right here on the mill, nice and solid base. Worked out. Anyhow, the one thing I'm doing now when I supply these castings, I'm not going to supply this piece here. I figure that's a piece of cold rolled. Somebody can get 3/8 cold rolled and machine it out. I'm trying to stay away from machining parts. That was the downfall from before. I just could not keep up with the flow of the machined parts. All right, here's the die all painted. Looks like a brandy new one. Got a nice die in here. It's all cleaned up and painted, and I got the little counter here for the. And the way it works is when it just pulls down and it counts it out. Sherman hooked up a little switch over here so we can turn it off and on when you safety switch when you're working it. You got to change the die parts over, and I bought a little Allen wrench thing to fit in here, and we're all set to go. We're all good to go, and it's working out great. I got the other little die down here. Here it is here. They're heavy little suckers, let me tell you. This is the die for the punch in the slots. And I can change the die set in there. I got a bunch of different ones. I just put them in there, and makes it easy. So we're all set. I got this nice stand all done with the proper nice wheels on there. I got all the parts down there in the box, all the bolts, everything to go with this unit. And then when we're not using it, we spray a little bit of oil on there, stop it from rusting up a little bit, and put it over in the corner. Maybe throw a little cover on it, keep the dust off, and when we need it again, we'll punch out springs. And one other thing I got to do, the good old Harbor Freight. I love the place, right up here on the other side of town. And for the money, they have parts, and they're saving me a lot of money. And what I want to get is a plastic bins. They sell a tray of 24 plastic bins. So I'm going to get those and fill them up with all the springs. As soon as we get the spring material in here, I'll start punching it, either Dan or Sherman or somebody sit there and put boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, punching them out and making a nice setup. Making these little homesies as well, the little shackles, and get the castings made they come from New Hampshire, no, Rhode Island, place up there, and they're going to make they're doing the safety valves now. I'm waiting for the bottoms to come in. They should be coming in this week and a half, I hope. Because it's kind of put that job back let's put it back a good month. So I still have to build the boiler. Guess that's it. January 1, Happy New Year. Hope everything's good for you. Probably see you next time at Cabin Fever. And then, believe it or not, after Cabin Fever, I'll be down in Florida for 2 weeks for 2 of the meets down there. I'm going to visit with some people. My dear friend Earl Muller. He's been bugging me to come down. I'm going to spend a good day or so with him. And boy, I'll tell you, we're going to do some talking. And then I'm going to stop and see John Buckwalter. And he's going to show me his CNC router, which I plan to make one. I've got all the parts ready, and we're going to start the design, and I'm going to build a CNC router / plasma cutter, because we need that here. And we're going to stop and see some other things. So we're going to do probably quite a number of videos. One on each club, one for Earl, one for John, another fellow Ronnie Cook that has nothing to do with live steam, but he's a dear friend of Sherman's. And me and Sherman are going to stop there to see him because he has a plasma cutter, and I want to see that. And see my friend Dan Willie and Lisa Stelny. So we're doing a nice trip. We're going down to the Sunshine State for a couple of weeks. Last 2 weeks of February. So next time I see you, we'll be in Cabin Fever meet. Thanks for watching.